Hi guys, I don't even know what day it is. Oh, it's Thursday. Yuck. The weekend's coming and that's not cool, so. Alright, we're going to go back into familiars. So there is a little bit more within the whole devil within traditional witchcraft. So this is called Amorous devils. This does have to do with, it's going to the crossroads, you're finding your familiar, so it does have connections with the familiar, so it's pretty interesting. So, alright, now the Amorous devils, and here's a really good quote from Aleister Crowley, which I love. This serpent, Satan, is not the enemy of man, but he who made gods of our race, knowing good and evil. Aleister Crowley. Personally, I love that. I think that's really amazing. It's a very beautiful quote. So, alright, now, this is, if you want to, think back to the witch's sabbat, the popular image that we have of, the witches cavorting with the devil or whatever. So, the devil is said to appear at the crossroads. Well, no wonder. I live on a crossroads. Perfect. Anyways, near a gallows or on a lonely highway, and to have many disguises. So folklore makes it clear that you can never really trust him. And yet the Scots tell us, quote, the devil is good to his own, unquote. It's not the devil as in Christianity. That's not what we're talking about at all. So, modern traditional witchcraft worships him as the master under many names. It is said of him that he is who gave the gift of cunning fire to mankind, or at least led the way among other important spirits who also did so. So that would be Cain. He was the first blacksmith, the forger. So the fire that brings forth mankind's artfulness, that marks humans as different from the other animals, and also allows for the possibility of sorcery. So that's pretty interesting. It's just kind of a description of the god of the witches, but there is still familiar aspects in this too, the familiars. So, but his ways are complex and mercurial, and as such he has been more abused of late in history than he has been worshipped. So with the narrative of Christianity having gained so much power, to truly understand him, we often need to take power back from this so dominant story. So, and when we do, there are witches who will still say that our master is both Jesus and Lucifer. That is coming from the dual faith within traditional witchcraft. So he is both the rebellious goat and sacrificial lamb, and for his ambiguity at every level, he is rivaled by society. He is Jesus about to be crucified, and he is Judas, the betrayer, who gives Jesus up to be crucified. Love the story of Judas. I love Judas. So to witches he is sometimes also known through the apocryphal Christian traditions, and named Azazel, the fallen watcher, lover and teacher of sorcery. To human women, the divine smith who turns and shapes the metal of our souls until they are strong and sharp and able to endure. So it is perhaps these other watchers that followed Azazel in his interest in the daughters of man. So we do have that connection with the interest in the daughters of man, the fallen angels coming down and mating with the daughters of man, giving birth to I don't even remember what, but yeah. Alright, so okay, so yeah, the daughters of man, that might give us a clue as to the meaning behind the love between the human witch and the demonic fetchmate. I like how Lee Morgan, you're amazing. I love how you spelled demonic. It's not demonic, it's like daemon, but only demonic. So, yeah, it still has to do with the fetchmate, so we're still in that kind of bubble. Alright, now, and yet, when we reach for him in the way the witches of old might have seen him, we can not only deal with the Christian gloss, for there were native traditions at work also. So it is interesting to note that the word devil in Scotland became almost synonymous with the more neutral term spirit. So, devils and demons, that is this, I hate the name devil. well, in the old horny, the devil, in traditional craft, when you're talking to a traditional crafter, it's very different than it would be to do it with somebody that's like Christian. Because they're like, what are you talking about? Do you worship the devil? No. Alright, so this is well illustrated in the still common saying, oh, you poor wee devil, which is simply a way of saying, ye poor soul. So whilst the Inquisitors saw all spirits that the witches dealt with as the devil, so yeah, everything that was grouped, it was the devil. Everything. All of it. So, what they in fact interacted with was the devil, or the spirit of their coven. So each area that connected with a devil of this kind worked with a local avatar, or a representative of the master. Again, this is not the devil or Satan in Christianity at all. This is pre-Christian. Yes, there was pre-Christian. So people like to argue with me that nothing was, stuff was not here before Christianity. Bullshit. Everything was here before Christianity. Christianity is just a made-up, very relatively new faith. It's actually really new. So, alright, now where did I go? I don't know where I went, guys. Oh, the relationship was intimate in many cases, with the devil having sexual relations with all of his female witches. So this makes sense considering the association between Azazel and the fallen watchers both lying with and teaching witchcraft to human women. Alright, so this is the basis of witchcraft right here. So if you are Christian, you should probably not practice any kind of witchcraft or affirmations or any kind of manifestation, because manifestation, again, is the sugar-coated, pink, fuzzy, glittery, stupid blanket that people wrap around and replace witchcraft with, and it's stupid. I'm over it. I'm still over it today, guys. Alright, so, we also hear from Isabel Garcia in the Basque region, a tale suggesting the devil himself was sometimes fond of intercourse with his male, as well as his female witches. Very true. Very true. And Isabel Godi, although primarily mentioning the women in her coven having sex with their devil, does say of mixed-sex coven that the devil would lie with any and all. There's little other evidence of the devil behaving in this manner. Although Michael Erskine of Scotland in 1613 was found guilty of witchcraft and sodomy as a part of a co-joined crime. So yeah, that's ridiculous. Though there is no further information with whom this was performed. Usually when a man obtained an important connection with the devil, it was also through the medium of a female figure, as happened for Androman with the Queen of Fairies, and the angel/devil Christian Day. Otherwise, for men, the focus of any sexual union with deities was simply a fairy woman, or the fairy queen herself. So yeah, before you start working with fairies and elementals and, you're getting into all that stuff, you better read your history. Read your history, people. Anyways. The Fairy Queen was not quite as well known for her amorous pursuit, of human men as the devil was with women. But the stories are certainly there. Androman claims to have fathered children by her, and Thomas the Rhymer became romantically entangled with her. Interestingly enough, I did last night watch from the Ed and Lorraine Files, whatever the hell that is. Even though I think that they're still very superstitious people, that they're 6 foot under, so. Anyways, yeah, they actually recognized the fairy folk. Very different, and they had nothing negative or evil to say about them. They're inhuman spirits, and they're just part of the landscape, and Lorraine even agreed, and so did Ed. That's the first time I will agree with them, ever. Now, so yeah, I suggest that you guys watch that if you want to be surprised. That was a surprise to me, a shock. I was like, whoa. So yeah. Alright, now Congress with the Devil became a popular part of Sabbath mythology. Remember, it's not literal. So, but testimonies, like the vivid one of Isabel Godi, suggested that we cannot write this off as merely the exaggeration of the interrogators. There are simply too many details here that an interrogator would never think to inquire about. Isabel has provided more than a simple answer to a question. Quote, yes, I copulated with the devil, unquote. She provides us with a rich narrative of the experience. So here is Isabel's testimony about sex with their covan's devil, rendered in modern English. So it's easier for us to understand. So this does, he is the one that gives us our familiars. So, that you could connect that with Malthus, with the Goetian spirits, but this is just traditional witchcraft, so we're not connecting it to anything but traditional craft. So, her testimony is incredible. Now, the next time I met with him was at Insach, and he had carnal copulation and dealings with me. He was a great black man, was black, had black hair, or was dressed in black. This is unclear in the usage of the time. Who felt very cold. His penis and semen were as cold inside me as well water. Ow, wow. Sometimes he had boots on, sometimes his cloven hoof was visible. When he has carnal copulation with me, he feels as heavy laying upon me as a malt sack. His member is exceedingly great and long, and no man's member is so large as his is. At Sabbats he would come among us like a stallion among mares, and he would lie with us in front of everyone. Neither he nor we had any kind of shame about this, but he especially is shameless. He would lie with all and any that he pleased, and he would sometimes copulate us with us in the form of a stag, or other shape that he would turn into, and we would never refuse him. He would come to my house in the shape of a crow or a stag, and any other shape, and then I would know his voice at the first hearing of it, and would go forth with him and have sex with him. This is a testimony, all right. The youngest and lustiest women experienced a lot of pleasure in copulation with him, more so than with their husbands, and they had exceedingly great desire of it with him, and as such he would provide them with more, and they never felt ashamed of it. He was far more able in this department than any man can be. Alas, he should even be compared to a mortal man. So yeah, you can't compare this to a mortal man. Except for the fact of how heavy he felt and how cold his member and semen was. So that is, that's part of, the Fetch Bride. That's part of the Fetch Bride. That has everything to do with what we were talking about. So that will completely end the series, or this part of, familiars. So yesterday I did give the ritual, in the book. This is A Deed Without a Name. Very amazing book. Lee Morgan, very good book about traditional witchcraft, unearthing, the mysteries. So if you can get past all of the grotesque imagery like this, those testimonies, and you can actually unlock the mysteries of traditional craft, which is amazing. I love, I was reading again last night, I was going through all my books of traditional witchcraft and everything, my grimoires, and I was reading that the gods of old, when we as traditional witches actually kind of, rise up, and we, seek knowledge. It's imparted to us. The secrets of the craft, of our craft, traditional craft, are imparted to us in ways that are not imparted through books, through videos, through anything. It's something that we are imparted with when we actually do this, have congress with the devil. So we do receive that kind of information, and when the gods and the goddesses, well actually it's the gods, and if they feel like somebody's unfit for it, they won't give you crap. So they're very picky. Within traditional craft, I'm finding it that they're very picky. If you're coming into craft, the traditional craft to use methods and just, not worship and just pick and choose, then you're not going to gain anything from it. Nothing. So, I love it. It's pretty interesting. Very interesting, but yes. The whole concept of the familiar is quite intriguing, and it makes you think. It makes you want to go out and, that ritual yesterday. Have you guys done it? Have you tried it? Do you guys have any familiars? Do you guys know? Or do you guys feel like you would have a familiar? If so, what do you think your familiar is? I would love to know. There's so many ways nowadays that you can actually find out who your familiar is too. So, I mean, tarot cards, all of it, the Ouija, everything. So, alright guys, well, I'm going to cut it short for today, so I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys, I hope you guys like, you know, the imagery, if you can get past the grotesqueness of that testimony. It's interesting. So, alright guys, I love you all very much with all my heart, and thank you guys for all of your comments and everything that you're doing. I love you guys with all my heart. All my love, all the way from Venus, always, all the way back down. There we go. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, everybody have a good day, stay cool, because it's going to get really hot. Stay healthy, don't be going anywhere on me or I'll freak out. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.